time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. We are on episode 135, and we just lost Cass right off the bat. He decided he was going to stick around until we went live, and then he was bailing. He'll be back. He's at work today. He'll get that connection fired back up. There he is. Matt Kassian back with us. Ryan Salas, Joaquin Gage as well. Two Guys and a Goalie brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada. Visit them at coolbet.com. Sign up for an account. Use the bonus code Two Guys, you get hooked up with a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Stay cool, bet responsibly. Cass, how was the weekend, buddy?
It was good. It was good. Knocked out a couple episodes of Yellowstone. So
you must be close.
We're down the stretch. I think we got 5 left here. So we're almost there. We're almost there. But it was good. It was good. You know what? We did like a full garage cleaning day, like spring cleaning, like just took everything out. Swept out everything, borrowed the power washer from my neighbor, Terry, and, hosed down, like sprayed out all the cement and got it all nice and clean. And a bunch of new storage hooks, like for the kids' bikes and stuff, we just hadn't had. So it was just a mess in there. And now it's all nice and clean. So that was the weekend, cleaning in Yellowstone.
Gager, that's like you, buddy.
Yeah, we're opposites, but we do the same crap. Seems like it's Cass. So I did the exact same thing. So I might get yelled at here because we're moving stuff up from the basement as we speak, and my wife's going to get down here and move this thing. So it's I should actually hook up the camera for our little squabbles in between. They're quite funny. So
as long as it gets done.
It's funny you say that because there's 2 times my wife and I, like when we have disagreements, there's 2 times. One is typically like in the middle of the night, like if like the baby's crying, like someone wakes someone up and like you're disoriented and you're tired and you just get in a big disagreement. And the other is like cleaning things.
Oh yeah.
She's so much more organized and efficient. And even like with yard work where she loves gardening, which is great. Like I love that she loves it. I do not, but I try to help her and she appreciates me helping. And so sometimes we get into disagreements, like doing stuff like that. So I totally understand. You should get the, whatever those little head cameras are so we can see like, all the, we should head movements. Like for the argument,
really should go full GoPro. Like it would be the best
awesome.
Reality TV right now. It's awesome. She was telling me to put my goalie gear in the rafters in the garage. I go, how am I going to get it down? And she was like, as if you're playing anymore.
Ooh, God!
I know.
What a nasty burn. That's a nasty burn. Hernan, you didn't clean out any garages this weekend, did you?
No, but I shot some hoops on Friday and I was sore for 2 days, man. It's pandemic, man. Holy smokes! It's amazing how when you don't do much physical activity and then you go shoot hoops for a few hours, holy smokes. Saturday and Sunday, I was a mess, man. Like, it's like I got hit by a truck. But no cleaning. No cleaning like the boys. One day, boys, one day.
How was the jumper? How's your jumper doing?
Pretty good, actually. He's pretty good. Yeah, it felt good.
That's good. It's nice to see. It's funny the boys talking about cleaning things out because we did 2 weekends ago. The morning that it snowed, actually, we spent the first morning taking out all our furniture for the patio furniture and everything set up in the yard. Then we got that snow. But I'm good for about an hour of hauling stuff in and out of the shed. And after an hour, nobody wants to talk to me. After an hour, I'm just like, how about you guys go out front and play? How about you guys go inside? Like, just let daddy take care of it now. It's a little frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not good at that stuff. I don't like it. So we got the backyard taken care of. Garage has not yet been done. All right, we'll get to keep it or clip it a little bit later on. I got 4 questions there. If you're watching on the live stream right now, feel free to chime in, ask a question, comment on anything we're discussing as well, and sign up for the podcast. Just search Two Guys and a Goalie on all your podcasting platforms, and you will be able to track down our podcasts on all your platforms so you do not miss an episode. Brought to you by our friends at Coolbet. Let's start with the first time we saw the Oilers in quite a while against Winnipeg on Saturday. Gager, what'd you think, buddy?
Dominating performance. I was quite shocked, actually. Not shocked that they played so well. Maybe Winnipeg wasn't as sharp, but taking that week off, and I think one of the most impressive things is the play of Mike Smith in that game, like making those timely saves after that much time off. And I did watch some of the interviews that he gave, and how you can look at it two different ways. Oh, we're not playing, or take advantage of the practice time. And I I don't know, maybe when I played, I didn't put much value into the practice time as much as I probably should have, but it did seem to affect the Oilers' play. They looked solid. It was a good game to watch.
Hernan,
and it was
what'd
good
you
for
think,
cool
buddy?
bet too. Really good for cool bet for me. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Oh, do you run the Oilers as the underdog, or did you have the under, or what?
No, I had the Oilers to win. I had what else did I have? I had total shots. Connor and Leon didn't score for me, so that kind of sucks. I had Scheifele over, I think, 2.5 shots. So
Buddy,
yeah,
you were
it worked.
sprinkling on everything.
Oh, it was dabbling everything. I was in everywhere. Had my hands. Then I took a bath on the Montreal or the other game. That was awful. But was that the one? Yeah, I took a bath. But anyways, we're okay. We're okay.
You know what's crazy here is that we've been doing the podcast with CoolBet as our sponsor for like a year, almost a year, probably like 8-9 months. I think this is the first time you ever talked about a win.
No, I'm not
Most
terrible.
of the time you're talking about losses.
Well, our buddy Chris was. I saw a tweet that he sent out, and he showed someone betting stats because all he did was parlay, and there was like 800 losses and like 2 wins, and he said don't parlay, and then I wrote back in my usual GIF form like no, but I didn't parlay anything. I just went single bets, and obviously it worked out better for me. So maybe Chris does know what he's talking about. So. But it's tough. It's tough. I tell you, Dusty, those parlay numbers, they go up so fast.
That's how you're gonna get rich. That's how you're gonna hit the big one right there. Cass, what'd you think of the win over Winnipeg, buddy?
It was good. I still like. I look a couple things. Like I think they played a really solid game. They played a really solid game, consistent game, which was nice to see from the bottom 9. I still have concerns about trying to overweight that top line against them, with the reason being is that you did a great job of drawing power plays. In the playoffs, I don't think you're going to draw as many. Some of those penalties I don't think will be called. They're not playoff. They should be, but they're not playoff penalties. And the second that happens, I think Winnipeg is able to generate a little bit more momentum 5-on-5 and increase some of the opportunity there. So there's still some hesitation from me from a ongoing. Can we have Leon and Connor on the same line against the Winnipeg Jets? However, from that game standpoint, they did what they needed to do. They did a great job of staying on top of Winnipeg, pushing pucks to the outside. And when Winnipeg did get a chance, then Mike Smith was playing up to how he's been playing this season, which is really well.
Yeah, he's been sensational. Hernan, what was the post game like? What was Saturday like?
It was good. People were happy. We got a few texts. And again, I don't know if they were trolling us, but they're like, if the Oilers play like that, they'll be swept in the playoffs. And we were kind of like, what? They just beat one of the best teams 3-0. Like it was one of those games. Yeah, but a complete game by the Oilers. It's nice to see Jesse Puljujarvi hit the 10-goal mark. Yeah, it was good, and it looks like it's the same lineup tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm intrigued to see it for sure.
I gotta say, I was a little bit worried with the Nuge being out, but I think, especially on the cool bet side of things, but seeing Wheeler makes a big difference when he's in that lineup.
Yeah, true. I
think, especially on that power play, that's a big hole to fill if he's out of the lineup. So. I think that kind of balanced out, but what do you think? Does Wheeler mean more to that team than Nugent Hopkins does to the Oilers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, Cass is probably right. Like Wheeler's a way better player than, in my opinion, than Nugent Hopkins. But without Wheeler, the Jets are still deep down the middle. They still got without Nuge, you're running Gaetan Haas as your second line. So, like, if you're Winnipeg, without Wheeler, you got the depth on the wings. You can slide Stastny or Dubois in the middle if you need to. So, I mean, I don't think there's any debate Wheeler's a better player than Nuge. But I think there is a discussion that the Oilers may miss Nugent Hopkins more. What do you think, guys?
The Jets sweep the Maple Leafs without Wheeler. Like they're like you said, I think they just have more depth, top 6 depth, where the Oilers don't.
For sure.
They don't have they have a couple young guys and then a couple guys that are hit and miss. And then so Nuge, like you said, you're going from Nuge to Gaetan Haas, and that's a big drop off. Nothing against Gaetan Haas, but
big drop off for sure. All right. If you're watching on the live stream, feel free to hit us up and dangle dump. I see your comment there. We're going to talk about McLeod here right away. Hernan, let's go ahead, Gager. What's that?
Oh, dangle dump. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
That's,
He likes to
wow.
comment.
That's unbelievable. That's an unreal handle there.
You can dangle or you can
Dangle
dump it, right?
I thought he was in a bathroom.
That's how I
the whole
always thought
time,
it was.
but, whatever.
I didn't think it was a fancy shit, if that's what you were thinking. Like, sorry,
Yeah,
boys.
that's what I was-
And Kassian hangs his head in shame. That's good. Hernan, what do we got to talk about, buddy? And of course, we got to talk about, brought to you by Break Kings. I had another break there on Sunday night. Sign up on Facebook. Go to Facebook and just search Break Kings with a Z. And it's a card break group. We've teamed up with them. And I think I'm going to have another break on Thursday and then Sunday again. So, yes, we got to talk about, brought to you by Break Kings. Join the Facebook group today, Break Kings with a Z. Hernan, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
yeah, yesterday we got the news. Ryan McLeod called up to the taxi squad. We talked about it on your show a lot. And it's fun because it's like this guy's a center. He can also play the wing. He's got 28 points in 28 games, 2 shorties. He's a plus 23. He's 21 years old. I mean, like, it's exciting to see what he can do up here. I mean, we talked about it. Don't put too much pressure on him. But I'm just intrigued to hear, I guess, Gage and Cass, like, where do you slot him in? Do you play him center or wing? Like, there's so many questions, and I know me and Dusty were laughing earlier because we were like, well, if Nuge is in, it kind of changes that dynamic. If Nuge is out, it changes it again. If they split up the top 2, Leon and Draisaitl, like, where do you play them? So it's a fun question, and truthfully, I don't think anyone has the answer right now, but it's fun to speculate where they're going to slot in Ryan McLeod.
I've got the answer.
I'm scared.
No. I mean, I'm going to take the obvious answer if you're an Edmonton fan. The obvious answer is he plays on your first line as a centerman. And Connor McDavid can go down to the second line because, the minute you call up, your expectations are that this guy's going to score at a 50-goal pace because, he's a point-a-game player in the AHL, so he should be a 1.5 or 2-point player in the NHL. That's some Oilers fans' logic. But no, the reality is he should be playing third or fourth line. Don't really even want to mess with the Jujar line. So he's going to be playing fourth line minutes, get a little bit of an opportunity and have the ability to slide over and move up if needed. But you got to let him get his feet wet first. You can't just throw this guy in and have crazy expectations immediately. It's more like he's a backup option or he's a option and he's just earned his way to get to that position, but he still has to take that next step of earning it and paying his dues by way of probably having reduced minutes and having to earn more opportunity.
Yeah, I'd like to see him start on the wing too, just from a little bit easier in the NHL to start on the wing, not going up against possibly an established NHL centerman. I mean, he can skate from all accounts. I watched some highlights of him. He looks really good on some of the goals that he has scored. So, but yeah, let's not rush this guy into 1.2 points per night and how he's going to be on the top line. Let's get him in slowly. Get the confidence. I mean, he's by all accounts, he does have confidence already, just by how well things have been going down in the American League. But yeah, let's not expect the world from this guy quite yet.
It's the number of people today. Even like we talked with Rashog, and Rashog said he wouldn't be surprised if he starts on the wing in the top 6 in the Cahoon spot essentially, and I look at it and I go, he moves. We know he moves better than Cahoon. You can watch anything, and scouting reports have always been he can skate. I don't hate that idea, But then I also sit here and go, you know, as a market here in Edmonton, are we doing it again and just thinking that this guy should just slot in and play with Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto right away? Whereas Cass makes some good point. I mean, let this guy play some games in the National Hockey League. If it does have to be 8 to 10 minutes a night for the first, what they got, by the time he clears and is ready to go and gets a practice in, there's about 10 regular season games left that you can get him in here before the playoffs. So, you know, he can get some action in there. I don't expect Dave Tippett to take a young guy and throw him right up in the top 6, but at the same time, he's having a really nice season offensively and is obviously feeling it a little bit offensively right now. Cass, would that intrigue you a little bit to maybe put him with a line with like a healthy Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto, or you put Draisaitl, Yamamoto, and McLeod on your second line and put Nuge back up with McDavid and Puljujarvi just because he's got it going offensively this year. So you move him down low, maybe that kind of sucks it away from him for a little bit, and you miss out on what you're hoping to get in the first place.
Yeah, I appreciate that point of view. If you do it, I'd want to see Draisaitl on that second line. Like, yeah. I don't want to throw him into a situation where you have that second line with Haas in the middle, like before Ryan Nugent Hopkins comes back, which, you know, potentially most likely he will be at that point. So you have a little bit more flexibility, but I just would hate to put him in a position where you're stacking him up against the other team's top lines or their second line. And especially if it's like a Winnipeg, like, I don't know. He's not proven enough, and maybe he steps in and he's able to do well, but I just would rather take a little bit more of a tentative approach. But if Ryan Nugent Hopkins is back and you move Draisaitl down to that second line and you're looking for an option on the left wing, then yeah, I guess you could throw him in there and see how he does instead of Cahoon, because we've seen the streakiness to Cahoon and you know, some of the big mistakes at times that he makes. So yeah, maybe worth a look. You could be right.
I guess counter to that is it's not like, and I think Rishog said it, Dusty, where he's like, it's not like he's like taking anyone's spot. That left wing spot's open right now because no one's really grabbed it. And then another point is, like, why call him up when he's doing so well on the first line down there to play him in the fourth line or leave him out? Like, I think he has to be in your top 9 if you want to try him out, because, and I get what Cass is saying, he's young, he's never played an NHL game, which is totally understandable, but I just don't see why call him up to play him on the fourth line.
So that you can play him on the second line later, like to get his feet wet, to adjust to the, not just adjust to the game, but just to see if what he can do at the AHL level translates to the NHL level, because it doesn't always for some guys.
But you're not going to see his American League game on the fourth line.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You want to see him, how he operates on a line that is counted on to produce offensively, I think, more than anything. Do you want him to be fourth line? Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want a checking fast guy on their fourth line or something that maybe can add some offense. But it's like it is tough for you. There are a lot of really skilled guys in the American League, but it doesn't always translate because they can't play on the bottom 2 lines. They have to be on the top 2 to do anything, because it's just not their game. And if it's,
you got it.
And it sounds like Nuge is close to returning. If Nuge is back, then who's your fourth line? Like, who's on that fourth line? Because it's been such a mixture, right?
Probably be Gaetan Haas in the middle, right? And then Shore on the left side and Kassian on the right side, maybe.
Like I'm saying, if McLeod starts on the fourth line, who are you playing?
Yeah.
Haas and
Kassian? That's not a bad line. It might be an okay line.
Yeah.
And then you could go Jujhar Khaira, Archibald, and Shore.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do something like that. I mean, a Kassian, Haas, McLeod line would at least bring a ton of speed. You know, that should be a line that should be able to skate you. So, Cass, what were you going to say there? You were going to add something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, and I know just from personal experience, seeing guys that can't step into that NHL in that third or fourth line position, that, you know, guys that have to play in the top 6 in an offensive skilled role, But here's the thing for a guy, like Ryan McLeod stepping in, is he needs to prove that he can play defensively in a bottom six role. Like you have to play defense, especially as a centerman. Like if you can't play defensively as a centerman in the bottom six, how are you going to play offensively or defensively as a centerman in the top six? Like you're not going to. You need to be able to play in the bottom six if you're a centerman just as well as you're in the top. Now, if you're slotting him in as a winger who can occasionally play center, then yeah, I guess maybe you inhibit him a little bit on the in the bottom fourth. But as you guys just said, like that second or that fourth line looks a lot like their second line right now once Ryan Nugent-Hopkins comes back.
Yeah.
Like there's not too much difference. So are they, is the responsibility of that line going to be, just play defensively, or is it going to be, try to create some offense? But if you have Kassian and Cahoon on there, then you got, or Kassian and Haas at center, then you have, a lot of speed and actually some offensive pump there. So I don't know. I just don't think you necessarily need to have him stepping into the top six.
I think the one thing that he's got going for him is that from the moment they drafted him, everybody's always kind of predicted him to be a third line center in the future anyway, because he's got that tool set, like he's fast, he's big, apparently he's got pretty good hockey sense, he kills penalties for you, so he's kind of got that going for him right now, which would be, if you put him in the bottom six, I think he could be effective because he gets around well enough, whereas like Benson and Marody, I don't think you're bringing those guys up ever and putting them on the fourth line, because I don't think they can move well enough to be fourth line guys for in the National Hockey League. So I think that's where McLeod probably separates himself from him, and probably why he's getting the call here as opposed to some of these other guys. But we'll see. He's got to be quarantined for a week. I think they might be projecting next Wednesday's game against Winnipeg, when you could possibly see him if he gets a practice or two in along the way. All right, Cass, let's stick with you, buddy. What do we got to talk about?
Oh, I just want to talk about Gager's favorite player, the resurgence, the emergence of the number 71 for the Boston Bruins, Taylor Hall. After the trade, he has been El Fuego, as you say in Spanish, or decently on fire. Anyways, he's not absolutely lighting the world up, but certainly seems to be playing well offensively. And the smaller piece of that trade, Curtis Lazar, actually has had a really nice start there for Boston as well. But I just wanted to talk about seeing a player go through that transition where they go from losing team, always expecting to be the guy to make the difference, to take them from being a losing team to being a winning team, because that's really what he's been. You look at Arizona, you look at Buffalo, you look at New Jersey. Like it's always, even in Edmonton, like he's supposed to be the guy that takes them to that next level, not a team that's already there to help them stay there or to get even better. I just think you're going to see him have a really good stretch run here and be an important part of that Bruins group. And certainly once we found out all the information regarding how he constricted the trade, the amount that Buffalo got back for him makes a lot more sense. But I don't know. I guess I just wanted to check in with you guys to see what are your thoughts on Mr. Hall, because to me he's having a real good start in Boston.
Oh, you hit it right on the head there, Cass. With I think when he's added to it, he's not the centerpiece, but he's a really good chunk of that puzzle that can be added to the Bruins team. I mean, he scored some nice goals. You see his speed. He's got I think obviously being rejuvenated from coming from Buffalo, where the attitude was probably pretty low, to come into that Bruins dressing room where these guys are most likely talking about winning a Stanley Cup. Is that's a refreshing start. I do like the 71 number. I think the significance of having that, obviously probably tough to wear number 4 in Boston, and almost as tough to wear number 8. So having the 7 plus 1, still a multiple of 4, being 8. And let's see, I mean, he's no Cam Neely, all right? But if he's looking to do something even close to what Neely did provide to the Bruins, I think that's pretty cool with the play on numbers. Hopefully that works out well for him.
Yeah, I'm a Taylor Hall guy. He's a good player, but and look at who he's playing with: Craig Smith and David Krejci, two veterans guys that can score, pass the puck. They're good defensively. It helps them a lot. So I mean, I love the look of their top six now, and you got that killer line as their number one line, and you can come back with Krejci and Taylor Hall. So that's pretty decent. So yeah, I'm happy for them. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully they get into the playoffs and we can see what kind of damage Taylor Hall can do. And I'll say this, though, the 71 does look a little weird on Halsey, but I mean, he wanted to change probably things up. So, yeah, it's a welcome change.
I think the big thing for him, and you guys have all kind of talked about how he doesn't have to be that guy. There's not even in Boston going to be anybody going, maybe they should try him on the top line, because that top line is untouchable, right? Like you're not messing up Pasternak and Marchand and Bergeron. Like it's you do not mess with that line at all. So he's settled in where he's going to be. There's no moving up. There's no moving around. He's likely locked in next to Krejci the whole way, and there's no pressure being in that situation. What's going to intrigue me is that, and we're going to have time to beat this to death during the offseason here, is if he fits in really well here, is he willing to accept that secondary player money as opposed to hitting the unrestricted free agency market and having Seattle say, hey, man, here's $8-9 million a year to come be our go-to guy in Seattle. Like, I wonder if he'll get to that point where he realizes, still going to make a ton of money, going to have a pretty good shot at winning a cup before the end of my career. Let's just stay here. I think that's going to be the interest, especially if not that I don't think they're going to win the cup because of this move, but if they have success and he fits in well, that's going to be an intriguing story heading towards free agency, man.
Yeah, and he's not getting that prime power play time either, right? He's second unit right now.
Wait,
so it's
there's second units.
It's a little.
Are you telling me National Hockey League teams have second units?
They sure do, Dusty.
Unbelievable.
I like to see the Oilers second unit more.
Here's the thing on that though, Hernan, is Taylor Hall, in my opinion, has never been a grade A power play player.
That's
he
true.
Is a player.
Yeah.
He drives offense 5-on-5. He's been really the last 7 or 8 years one of the best, if not the best, forward in the league at consistently driving 5-on-5 play. So you're not bringing in Taylor Hall, I think, to run your power play. You're bringing him to score goals 5-on-5.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't even remember when he was on the Oilers where he played on the power play. Like, was he a passer, a shooter? Like, I don't even know. That's a good point. Yeah, he's not like that go-to power play guy, right?
He's off the rush, right? Like he generates pretty much most of his offense off the rush for sure.
On the far blue line, doesn't get the pass and a long skate into the zone and to the bench. That's what he used to do when he was here. That was his position on the power play.
All right, Gager, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
We are going to have a heated discussion about Mr. Marleau and how he is going to go to the Hall of Fame. He has been a great player. He was one of the in San Jose. I just remember back in him and Thornton were kind of one of the first duos that were just scary to play against and just Oiler killers all the time. His numbers match up to a lot of guys that aren't in the Hall and some that are. I mean, and the fact that he has played more games than anyone else in the league is, on that stat alone, there are special stats. All right, there's some special stats that get you into the Hall of Fame. I mean, hey, it's not. He didn't play goal and allow 2 goals in 4 seconds by the same guy, but he did play a shit ton of games, and so I think that he does belong in the Hall. He's been a great player. By all accounts, great teammate. All you hear is great things about this guy. I think that adds a little bit to it as well. 566 goals, 630 assists, 2 gold medals at the Olympics. It's not just the NHL Hall of Fame, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think that has to go into consideration as well. And 1,200 points, to me, it's a no-brainer. He's a Hall of Famer.
Cass, where do you come out on this? Because I know Hernan and I were talking about this morning, but where do you come out on this, Cass?
I actually got in a disagreement. I was chatting with my dad on the weekend, and we were talking about this. And his point, what he said was, Matt, it's not the Hall of Stats, it's the Hall of Fame. And my point was, well, yeah, but the guy's played more games than anybody. He's got over 1,000 points, like 1,200 points. Played really good hockey for a long time. As Hernan said, played on some pretty big teams. Like, you'd be pretty hard pressed in the world of hockey to talk or to hear, if you mention to someone that's a hockey fan, most places in the world, they're going to know who Patty Marleau is. Like, it's not, he's a well-known, well-recognized player just with being around for so long and recognized as a star player for a long period of time. So my opinion is that he is a Hall of Famer, or will be a Hall of Famer. My dad didn't think so much, but he gets stuck a little bit on, he wants Paul Henderson in there because he's like, well, it's a Hall of Fame. Yes, Paul Henderson didn't have stats, but he scored like one of, if not the most famous goal in hockey. So he should be in the Hall of Fame for that reason, fame side of it than the stat side of it. And I kind of look at this one and say it's a little bit of both with him. So I think he should be in.
I pulled out some stats like of guys that are in and not. Like Fleury's not, right? He's got a gold medal, 450 goals, over 1,000 points. Jeremy Roenick is close to him. No Olympic gold. And he has a few more points than Patrick Marleau. Then I looked at like Daniel Alfredson too. Like there's another guy that he's got a gold medal, lots of world championship success. And then just putting up even against Mats Sundin, like his numbers, Mats has a little bit more, about 100 more points, but he has one Olympic gold medal, lots of world championships. And he's the only one of those guys that are in there. Really, to me, I think they're at one point, all of them should. But if you have Roenick and Alfredson going in there, I think you have to put Marleau in there too. These are all guys that didn't win Stanley Cups.
Yeah, it's tough because I hate that Stanley Cup argument that you need one to get in. I don't agree with that, and I'm kind of torn on Patty Marleau. I know me and Dusty talked, and a lot of our listeners, Dusty, were like, he has to be in, comparing him to the Sedins and stuff. And that's what we kind of went off. And then we got Patrick Marleau's just Ryan Smith. And then like seriously, we got so many different comparisons. So we were kind of going back and forth. And you look at the Sedins though, and their numbers are outstanding. They won the Hart, Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross. And I think that's where we were going, Dusty, where Marleau, no hardware, right?
Nothing.
Software. He had software.
So it's tricky for me. I think he will get in just because of the games, but do I think he should be in? I'm still torn on this one. I don't know, to be honest with you.
I think he'll get in with the way they do this Hockey Hall of Fame. I think, like Gage had mentioned some of those guys, the Flurries and Roenics, and Patty Marleau will. I think he'll get in, but he wouldn't be in my Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, he's .67 points per game in his career. 0.67. Like, he's played a ton of games, but he's 0.67 points per game, which is actually Ryan Smith. I know we joked about it. 0.66. So Ryan Smith's at 0.66. Patrick Marleau's at 0.67 points per game. Now, lower end of his career, played for a long time. That's going to bring those numbers down. But at no point in his career was he, I think he finished top 20 in points twice in 20 years. Like, he was never nominated or even got a sniff of any individual award. Didn't have the team success as far as the Stanley Cup thing goes. I thought he was a really good player, but I just don't think you can put all these really good players into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So I think he will get in, but I wouldn't put him in. But I don't think we'll agree on this. Let's see here. Let's see a couple of comments. Pylons D6 is not a Hall of Famer in my opinion. No major awards or a Stanley Cup. Great career, but not Hall worthy. So I don't know. It basically comes down to, like, this is the ultimate Hall of Fame debate, to be honest with you. He's got that longevity that Gager said makes him special, but he literally didn't have anything that ever really stood out statistically in his career.
Would you guys put?
Go ahead, Cass.
I was going to say, would you guys put vanilla in the Ice Cream Hall of Fame?
Wow.
I probably wouldn't. No.
This is tough because I'm the most plain dude of all time. So vanilla's my second favorite ice cream. So I probably would, but that doesn't mean it's great. I don't know.
So he goes in.
I don't know. It's a good discussion.
It's just that he should go on just on that stat alone. He played more games in the NHL than anyone else. Like that's
and through different.
If he doesn't have that stat, then maybe I'm saying it's an iffy kind of thing. But does Jeremy Roenick belong in the Hall of Fame?
Well, but I think you can. This is the difference between Roenick and Fleury and those guys, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a stretch there for a few years where Jeremy Roenick was one of the top 5 forwards in the National Hockey League. When in the early 90s, he was an absolute stud. And you just can't say that about Patrick Marleau. Patrick Marleau was never the best player on his team. That to me, that's a little bit different. He always was just that really good other guy on the team. I don't know.
And Roenick was really good in that first Sega. God, he was good.
NHL 93.
He was the best player in that game. He was unreal. He would bleed everybody. Everybody he hit, he would knock out of the game.
You know, the one thing that I do look at and go, shit, that's pretty good. 566 goals in the National Hockey League. I don't care if you play 20 or 30 years. I mean, you score 566 goals. That's gonna make a big time impact in that discussion. That's the one thing that does stand out for me. Dude almost scored 600 goals. So I don't know.
2 gold medals. That's huge, man.
2 goals in 14 games or something at the Olympics. But he was on the team. I mean, he won the golds. You're right. Yeah. All right.
Vanilla ice cream.
You know what? Of all the crazy hockey arguments we just had and we're going to hear, the whole vanilla ice cream thing might make the most sense. It would be in the Ice Cream Hall of Fame. You're right. All right. Let's wrap up. We got to talk about it. Brought to you by Break Kings. Join their Facebook group, Break Kings on Facebook, if you're into the card breaking business. We got to talk about the Canucks win over the Leafs last night. Haven't played in 22 days. And I think there's a lot of different things we can hit on from this. But I'll go with that Holtby poke check double barrel roll save, which was just insane. Gage, you got to break that down for me, buddy. Does he locate, when he's on his back, does he locate that puck and swing that leg over? Because I think he did, but it seems too crazy.
It sure looked like it did, because I had that on replay a ton, and if you watch his head, he moves his head and looks and sees that puck, and then that other leg comes over and hits it. So it's the closest you're gonna get to the beautiful game than I've ever seen. He actually windmill kicked a puck back out of the net. That was unbelievable. Great for him. There's certain saves that you make during games, I think, over your career that you always remember. There's a few that I remember. Not that there was a lot, but there's some that I remember that were kind of just crazy saves, and that was awesome. That's the save of the year, by all accounts. That was good for him. He's had a rough go. Great game, outplaying Campbell. Campbell even said, "Look, I was completely outplayed by Holtby tonight." I was happy for him.
And Simmons thought he scored, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I'm sure if you talk to a lot of the goalies, that's the worst thing about not having any fans is when you can actually get 10, 15, 20,000 people out of their seats and think because they thought it was a goal, and you hear that and then the afterwards. That's I can't express what a great feeling that is to disappoint that many people at once. I'm just down to disappointing one at a time, and that's just within my family now. So it's not the same juice, but that's an awesome feeling.
Cass, what a win! For the Canucks overall, that's pretty damn impressive.
Pretty impressive. Good thing they got the extra couple days of rest and work.
All right, let's get into Keep It or Clip It. 4 questions to hit on here. Let's start with this one. John Tortorella who's healthy scratching Max Domi tonight, won't be back next season. Keep it or clip it.
Is his contract up?
I don't know if it matters at this point, man, but let me see here.
Well, I mean, money.
Where do we find coach contracts?
I'm gonna clip it, or keep it, whatever. He's done. I think he's done.
I'm with Cass. I think, it's. I think they're just both sides need to move on. And you've seen Line benched, Dubois, now Max Domi. Like, who's next? So, and they're having a bad season. Like, they just can't seem to figure it out down there. So, I think he's done.
He's had 6 years. 6 years is enough, right?
Yeah, 3 is enough for him. Torts, I think he's good for the struggling team to come in and, but it's just it's too much now. I think he needs a reset more than anything. I think he actually goes and reevaluates himself and doesn't fall back into the old ways. I think when you saw him first go to Columbus, he had that big success because he communicated a little bit better. But now it's just gotten to the point where, I mean, you're seeing star players, the Dubois wanting out, and you don't want to see other guys like Domi and Line start going, look, I can't handle this anymore.
Question number 2. 2 Guys and a Goalie podcast needs our own craft beer. Keep it or clip it. What would we call it, and what type of beer would we want? How would we'd have to come to terms on something here, boys.
Okay, I'll only say one thing: no fruity flavors in the beer.
I was going to say it has to be fruity.
Yeah, so was I.
With Cass, I think it'd have to be sour.
It's not gonna work, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna need at least. We're gonna need a Monday one and a Thursday one, Dustin.
Yeah.
So
two different styles.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have 2 different styles and then have to go with one depending on how the podcast goes. I want the IPA that blows all your taste buds out so you can't taste anything for the next 3 days. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Can we meet in the middle on like some sort of nice Kolsch or something like that? Like, could that maybe work?
I think even just like a normal pale ale.
Yeah.
Well, Dusty's a big. He's the Belgian Moon. So
Belgian Moon, love Belgian Moon.
Yeah, something cloudy, easy. Yeah, not too fruity.
That'd be something else.
Keeping your taste buds intact, I guess. That's whoever's out there that makes one of those.
What would we call it?
That's a good idea.
You know what? If we had 2 different ones, we could have one called headbands and one called mini skirts.
I was going to say, we'd have to dive back into all of our podcast titles and see the names that really stand out. I've got a 2 Guys mini skirt. This is delicious.
I don't like the chances of eating knob being a good commercial beer.
If you're looking for something to quench your thirst this weekend, try a 2 Guys and a Goalie eating knob.
There's got to be something when Tommy filled in and he was talking about shafts.
No.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah. That's a good one too. Let me just.
Well, maybe we should put it out there, Dusty. Maybe the fans can decide. That's
we'll have to maybe do a vote or something on this because there'd be a few. Yeah, eat your knob. What else do we got here? That one probably wouldn't. It's not a Tuma. That should probably already be a beer somewhere. Mommy porn. That's not going to work. Zippiness. The test sweater. Remember your test sweater, Cass? Oh, buddy, that's too good. All right. Gage, you might want to take this one first. Throw it your way. The Sabres going 4-3-1 since sitting and trading Taylor Hall is a total coincidence.
We've didn't he? Yeah, it's a total coincidence. I'll be nice. But usually it seems like when he leaves a team, they do a little bit better. But I'll be nice at this point. I think Sabres have gotten to a point where it's tough for another team to get up for a game against them. I'll just we'll leave it at that, Dusty.
You always see these struggling teams, like after a long losing streak, they find a bit of success, and they got a lot of young guys playing, trying to make a name for themselves. So yeah, I'll keep it too.
Yeah, remember the Oilers for years? The last 15 games, everyone got excited for the next year, and then
Remember that Yakupov hat trick in the second last game?
yeah,
Woo! led the team in goals as a rookie. Then Dallas Aikens fixed him. That went over well.
How's his? He's not going to last that much longer, is he? There's no more wood to chop, and it's all Evian water. So,
Cass, what do you
They
think?
don't have a very good team. I don't think.
Oh, we lost Cass right before he was about to give us that great answer on the Taylor Hall question. Before Cass returns, can you guys see this mark on my head right here? See this? Took a
no.
That's a mini six injury from the weekend. Ooh. But it's not a stick. We've got like a little area in the corner where we've got an old box spring and mattress for a fort for the kids. And I went to bend down and get a ball, and I smashed my head on the corner of the box spring, and I was leaking over the weekend playing mini sticks. That's my life right now. Pretty bad. Cass, do you have an answer to that Hall question?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to clip it. I don't think it's coincidence. I think it's because you traded who is supposed to be your best player. You get a little bit of a boost. Players want to prove themselves. Some players will get a little bit more of an opportunity. So it's not coincidence, but it's not Taylor Hall's fault, if that makes sense.
All right, final question. We'll go back to Ryan McLeod. A lot of conversation on McLeod here. Ryan McLeod will be the Oilers' third line center to start next season. Keep it or clip it.
I'm going to clip it. I'm going to say someone's going to come in. I think Holland's going to make a move for something in the offseason. Something comes up. We'll see someone else in that spot that we don't expect to see.
I'll keep it. Kyra, Shore, Haas, all free agents coming up, so I don't think all three will be back. So yeah, I'll keep it just for fun.
I'll keep it because I hope it pans out. You sign Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you sign another top six winger, and you don't have the money, or you don't want to spend the money on bringing in another center. That's too expensive. So he's going to be a cheap option. He'll be a good option. So I think it happens.
Maybe there's a kid line, McLeod and Holloway together. Who knows?
Oh, don't say that, Dusty. Don't do that.
Too exciting or too frustrating, Gager?
That guy's got to let's throw him in some dirt, put some water, let that tree grow. We don't need to have another Pugliarvi kind of thing go wrong here. I think.
Gager,
you mean have a guy become awesome?
I did, but I was drinking, I think, that day. So I never make good decisions when that happens. Now, he needs to. I'd like to see him in the minors, play with pros, and go from there. And hopefully, it's a better suited American league where it gets a little bit back to normal with the way things go, and he can become the player that, well, from all accounts, we all want him to be. It was good to see how he played after. He was good at the World Championships, but I don't think we saw the whole package. And then he went back to college and really started tearing it up. And so I think there's a lot of potential for that guy. I'm excited. I mean, geez, if I had a guy like Stoff talking about me like that when I was, geez, I don't know if he's on the payroll or anything like that, but wow.
All right. Let's wrap up with this. Before Thursday's episode, we'll see two games between the Oilers and Habs. What do you think happens, boys? Gager, what do you think happens?
Well, according to CoolBet, I've got the Oilers winning tonight. So that's I'm just trying to take it. I know you're tired of hearing it, but I'm just trying to take it one game at a time with my CoolBet. Okay, Dusty, we're just going to work hard. We're grinding it out. We're not going too far into things, and we're going for an Oilers win. A couple shots. Connor's going to have a few points, and we're going to keep this under 5.5 goals a game, I guess. So we're going with that.
Gager, you're supposed to take Montreal.
No, I know, but I can't say that, right?
I say they split. Montreal's kind of owned the Oilers this season so far, but I think the Oilers find a way to win one.
Oh, Hernan, you're stealing my answer. I was going to say they split too. I think they go 1-1. They've struggled against Montreal, but they're playing pretty good right now, so they get at least one.
There we go.
And they're rested.
That helps. Cass will be on the pregame and postgame on TSN at 1260. Hernan will have your postgame. Be back with me tomorrow morning. And Gager, 9:05 Red Light District tomorrow morning on the show. Be ready for that.
All right. There we go.
Okay, boys. That's going to do it. Once again, you've been watching Two Guys and a Goalie or listening to it. It's brought to you by our friends at Cool Bet Canada. Stay cool, bet responsibly. Use the bonus code 2GUYS when you sign up for an account to get a 100% deposit bonus. We will be back on Thursday. For Joaquin Gage, Matt Kassian, Hernan Salas, and Dustin Nielson saying thank you very much for listening and watching. We'll talk to you later in the week. See you later, boys.
Later, boys.
Bye.